Hi everyone. Okay, before I start, I feel like I gotta make a couple of disclaimers. I wasn't sure if I was gonna even cover this trial, because of the subject matter. And also, um, I usually don't even use the name of the suspected person because I don't like to glorify that kind of thing. But the other option I had for titling it would make it sound even worse. So I went with this option, okay? But I in no way condone anything that she did. And I can say she did because on day 10 of the trial, maybe, yeah, it was 10. She was convicted of all 19 charges against her. So I can say that the convicted uh, person here. So, all right. Now I'm gonna do this overview style, meaning I'm gonna dive into the body language first, and then I'm gonna talk about some witnesses, and then I'm just gonna do like a finishing remarks, and I'll have. I think I'm done with this case. Okay. The reason why I decided to cover it is because um, I've kind of been fascinated for the last, I'd say, decade about people's body language and the psychology behind it, and if there's any psychology behind it. Um, and I told you guys before about the behavior panel, which is a great group of guys. And I also talked up their channel before. But there are four different guys from different disciplines of life who talk about people's body language when they're usually connected to crimes. So whenever there's police interrogation and stuff like that, the body language that you can see before and after confession. And it is true because I've seen it in a couple of instances myself. So I can attest to the reality of it. Okay. Now, this is a common thread that I find that whenever someone they think they're for sure not guilty, um, they are more than happy to talk to the police, and they sometimes overshare to the police. Okay. So they have to Mirandize, which is give your Miranda rights before you say anything. And they tell you that you do not have to do this. Um, but more than often they they do. So, um, and this particular woman, stuck to the story that she was getting some Orajel for some mouth pain from a neighbor of hers, and that was what happened, and that she didn't have any idea what happened to her own child. Now, to give you a little bit of context, without being, I'm not going to go into graphic detail because, like I said, it's a gruesome crime. And but she said that she did she did talk to the neighbor and try to get some medicine from the neighbor, and the neighbor, her supposed who she thought was going to be her alibi, totally threw her under the bus. And then when that didn't work, you can hear in the police interrogation that she tried to throw her ex-boyfriend, I think they were fiance at the time, under the bus too. And of course that didn't fly because, okay, now I told you, granted, I did not watch this trial the first time it went around, but I've heard a lot of people talking about it, so it's a curiosity thing. So I kind of looked into it myself, and I was on the third day yesterday and the fourth day, and man, okay, number one, the state had a bunch of witnesses, as they always do, but I don't think it was an exorbitant amount. But one of the witnesses was first her ex-boyfriend, who, if you base it truly on appearances, you'd say, I don't know about this guy, but he's a very upstanding guy, and he comes from a military family background, so he has culture and manners and everything. And I have to be honest, it sounds like he took care of her kids more than she did. And yeah, so there's that. That was from day 3 going into 4. You know, because sometimes they hold witnesses over. So that's what happened here. And the defense lawyer now, I don't know. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm really not. But I also see the fact that the defense lawyer is there to defend their client and also make the other witnesses look not as credible or not credible at all. Okay? So they have to use what they have to make their client look okay and look the other person, make the other people look not so good, right? Okay, so, and granted, this was 4 years ago. So this poor witness, the ex-boyfriend, is talking about his past, and he's saying it not with shame, but just plainly, yeah, I was completely different back then. I made some mistakes. Yeah, I did some things that I'm not so proud of. But the lawyer, I didn't like this lawyer, number one, because he was trying to be a good guy, like he was just trying to do the right thing. But there was some underhandedness about him I did not like. And then he had this phrase of, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. Yes, you are. Be honest about it. So there was that element. So on the third day, he says, yeah, I drank a lot. And then, yeah, I did some other things. And he says, so did you do all that in front of the children? And Gotcha says, yes, unfortunately, yes. Do I regret it? Yes. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting, and yet I felt bad for the witness, actually. Okay, number 2 that I found interesting was Miss Missy Melissa Bray, which was a neighbor of hers. Apparently, they a lot of witnesses that were neighbors of the defendant. Okay, and Missy is important, and her nickname was Missy. Okay, so she's important because she is the one who uh, the accused said she's the one who she got the oragel from, and that's the one that said, I haven't seen her in forever. No, she did not come over to my house and get anything. No, she did not. So I was like, all right. Yeah, she didn't. Okay. So then that was interesting. Okay. So now I'm on day 5. And this is today. Okay. And there was 10 days of trial. So like I said, I might not cover everything, but I'll try to do the best I can. Not today, but in the future they missing. But day 5. Okay, so we're on to the next witness. And the next witness is Michelle McCarver, something like that. And she's another babysitter of the little boy. Well, she actually babysat for both children because she had 2 little boys. Only one was a little bit older than the one she unalived. But yeah, and the way she took care of this child, the one that well, there were some things that she did that I find kind of questionable. Of she treated the children differently. She she acted like she loved one and she could care less about the other one. This is odd behavior. And also, I'm gonna back up a little bit, but part uh, day 2 or 3, I forget. But like early in the day, in day 3, I think they had the autopsy, some of the autopsy photos, and I didn't look at them, and I didn't really detail. But my point is, when I looked at the report, she had no emotion, no reaction on her face whatsoever, none, no crying, no hyperventilation, nothing, none of that. So weird. So if 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 I were a juror in that case, I would have said, I think that is more than likely, you know, the cause of this based on her. There was no emotion whatsoever. There was no remorse, no emotion. It's not your own kid you're talking about. This woman was something else. I mean, I say it was the first time I saw this, but that be untrue. I've seen it a couple times, but it still unnerves me. So yeah, from a psychological standpoint, body language, I'd say she probably rated off the scales because, like I told you before, Chase Hughes has a, a table of behaviors, and if you score above a certain number, you're probably more than likely guilty. She would have scored off the charts, man, because it's wow. I've never seen this before, like that level before. I just wow. So yeah, I might cover. I'm in day 5. I haven't finished day 5 yet. I might get as far as day 6 or 7, but I don't think I'm going to cover the whole thing because I'm kind of afraid that they're going to get a lot more graphic, and I just don't want to get that graphic, so that's why. All right. Hope this is